So we are recording our Essential Oil Apothecary class, and I'm starting our live video here. Okay, so hello everyone. We've got something new today. We are starting the Essential Oil Apothecary A to Z class, and this is the first time that I'm going live in our Nurturing Naturals Facebook group for people who are using doTERRA's products with us. And I'm here recording on Zoom with Molly and Gail, Molly O'Brien and Gail Kaplan, who are also sharing on our team. So I'm super excited about that. Hi, Sonia. Sonia is joining us on Nurturing Naturals. This is super fun. I think this is going to be something new I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to get creative in these times, right? To connect with each other and to share this amazing education. So I am super excited to talk to you about Arborvitae, or Arborvitae, however you guys want to pronounce it. Arbor means tree, vitae means life in Latin. So this oil is essentially known as the tree of life, which is so divine, and energetically it is that. It's known as the oil of divine grace. Hi Marty, namaste. Marty's joining us from South Africa and Nurturing Naturals. Okay, so if you have Arborvitae, I highly recommend that you take out your bottle right now. If you don't have it, put it on your next order. You've got to get it. It only comes in 5 milliliters, and it's not that expensive. It's only $22, I think, US. You're going to put a drop in your hands, and you're going to rub your hands together. And we're just going to close our eyes and just begin to smell this. And imagine that you are sitting in North America in the forest, deep in the forest, like way more north than I am here in Oregon, but more in Canada, among the red cedarwood trees. And this is where doTERRA is sourcing their Arborvitae or Arborvitae. And this is such a meditative oil. I love to use it in my meditation. It's really great for your skin. So I like to move it and massage it over my third brow and into my skin. You can rub your neck and shoulders and over your heart center. It's so beautiful. And I love trees so much. There was a point in my life when one of my sisters said, I think you like trees more than you like people. And at one time in my life, that was true. When I was young, I was going through a really hard time. So this one just really grounds me down. It brings me into that state of peace and stability. It's a really great oil to meditate with. It's a great oil to use with prayer, ritual, ceremony. Arborvitae, or the red cedarwood, is known as, it's called Thuja plicata. That's its scientific name. And this is, it's got a unique chemical constitution to these trees that are found specifically in Canada, because it contains methylthujate, which is a chemical component, which is really great for the skin. So one of the things that I love about the whole process of doTERRA and how they source their products is they're making sure that they're really doing so sustainably. So what they've done is they've connected with tree harvesters up in Canada, in the Pacific Northwest here. And what they've done is, I have a video that you can see. I posted a video on my Facebook page, and I'll share that in Nurturing Naturals as well. But it's so amazing because you get to hear from a Native American speak about the traditional uses of red cedar. And my first experience with red cedar was in a traditional Native American peyote ceremony in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I was asked by a couple of my friends there to participate in an all-night ceremony. And traditionally, they pass around tobacco to smoke their prayers. And I cannot smoke tobacco. It makes me nauseous, even though it's a very ritualistic herb. It just is not one that's resonated with me ever. And so they offered me dried cedar instead to smoke. And you roll that and you smoke that in your prayers. And if we look at, I have this really great book, Essential Emotions. I don't know if you've seen this before.
Where did you get that book?
I got this from, I bought it at convention last year, but you can get it from Aroma Tools.
Aroma Tools.
And Arborvitae is known as the oil of divine grace, like I was saying earlier. And traditionally, Native American people used to burn this cedar in rituals because the smoke not only cleanses the space, it builds immunity, and the aromas are very calming. And it's said to really help people develop that spiritual communication with source, right? With yourself. So Molly, do you want to talk about your experience? Because I know that you were saying how much you love to meditate with this oil.
So like Gail was just saying a couple minutes ago, and she was saying she's had it, but she, didn't know what ways to really utilize it. That was the same for me. And like similar to kind of what I've done with other oils that I've felt that same way with, where I was kind of unsure exactly how to get all the benefits from the particular oil. I just kind of take the time to have my own experience with it, because your intuition is going to really guide you in the direction of how you can utilize the oil in its best capacity, more times than not, when you're in a certain space, I guess. So anyways, when I found the oil, I started using it in my meditation practice, and the connection I immediately had with the oil was just so profound. It's really such a sacred oil. I feel it just really encompasses the energy of these sacred trees and the history of the land of where this particular oil that's sourced and bottled comes from. I just feel like it really encompasses all that beautiful sacred energy. And so anyways, when I meditate, when I use it in my meditation practice, just as we were doing a couple minutes ago, I'll put a drop in my hand. Usually when I open the bottle, I just give it a nice deep inhale initially. Then a drop in my hand, rub it together, and just really take a few deep inhales. And as we were just doing, rub on your brow line, and really with the intention, I rub on my third eye, and just kind of ask for that same sacred energy to come into the space that I'm practicing in. And instantly I just begin to really visualize the greatness of the tree with its, hundreds of years old, the roots that are going into the earth on the sacred land that's so respected by the indigenous people from that area, and then seeing the tree grow so strong up high into the heavens. And when you're meditating and really what initially brought me to meditation was trying to find a space of more presence and trying to ground down. And, you know, with that energy of the tree, it really creates such a beautiful experience and really facilitates a much deeper connection to yourself, to source, you know, to the guidance that you're seeking during that time of meditation. And just that visualization of the roots digging in deep into the earth and grounding you down, you know, and then growing tall and strong up and its branches, you know, into the heavens. And it really is yeah, it just creates such a beautiful, sacred time of prayer, you know, and you can incorporate it. That's for me, that's how I use it in meditation. But, you know, in my meditation, I really just have the same experience as sitting in prayer, you know, very
Mhm.
similar. So,
Oh, thanks for sharing, Molly.
yeah.
So great. Um, okay, so some other traditional ways that people use the red cedar or Arborvitae is they would cut the boughs off of the branches. And if you've ever felt fresh cedar, it's so soft. And they would take the boughs and they would brush the body or the energy, and they would do that to cleanse the spirit and cleanse the space. And they also used all parts of the trees. They would use the bark of the cedar wood to make clothes, rope, weave baskets, and they would use the wood to make their homes or the poles and for their canoes. And one of the really special things about Arborvitae, this tree of life, is that even when these trees die and they fall over in the forest, they will basically just lay there. They don't really decompose for years because of the essential oil in the tree. So they're prone to insects, which makes this oil a really great one for summer coming up because it's an insect. You can use it as an insect repellent as well. So you can make that into a spray or add it to your natural home remedies when you make your insect repellent and just spray that on. So if you wanted to make your own, you could just use a base of like witch hazel and maybe a dash of fractionated coconut oil and maybe some distilled water, put some Arborvitae in there and some other essential oils that are known to repel insects, and use that as your insect repellent, which is so great because then you're not spraying chemicals on your skin, right? And also as you're doing that, it's almost like you're giving yourself like this auric blessing, you know, because it's such a divine oil. So it's like giving yourself this energetic protection. Now with doTERRA, when you watch that video that I post about where Arborvitae is coming from and how they're sourcing it, it is so beautiful and magical, which is one of the things that I really love about doTERRA, is because they really honor the earth. And what they're doing is they are sourcing the essential oil from the heartwood of the plant, of the tree. So this is like the, you know, the bulk of the plant. And so a lot of times when they're processing these trees for lumber or whatever, they're throwing away the pulp. And what doTERRA is doing is they're using that pulp and actually distilling the essential oil from that. And then instead of just throwing away the pulp, they're sending that to paper mills, and paper is being produced from that. So there's hardly any waste. So it's amazing. Now let's talk about practical ways we can use this oil, not only in our meditation, our prayer, and our spiritual practice, but we can also make different home remedies, not only the insect repellent, but it's really great for your hair and for hair loss. So if anyone's experiencing problems with their hair, I have my own homemade doTERRA essential oil elixir hair tonic that I make that I will add it in next time I make my blend, because I haven't done that before, so I'm excited to try that and add it. But it's really known for men's facial hair, for their beard oil. And just think of how sexy men smell when they are kind of woodsy. I mean, I'm living up here in the Pacific Northwest. You know, I love myself a good mountain man. And it's just so, you know, nice to be around a man who's grounded, who's smelling so natural and not smelling like, I don't know, those colognes that some guys wear that when they leave the room you can still smell the toxic chemicals. It's just, I mean, it makes me want to barf sometimes. You know, you're just like, but this is so good. So it also triggers our mood, right? It elevates us. So it creates some kind of feelings in us, you know. It's not only a divine oil, but when we're thinking about divinity, we're thinking about that merging of the sacred masculine with divine feminine. So it's also used in different recipes for aphrodisiacs as well, because it's so grounding. It creates that safe space and that openness, you know, that sense of unity. And so let's see, other applications for this essential oil. I have a bunch of notes here because I'm so excited to share. So the other uses are for coughs, fevers, cystitis, intestinal parasites, venereal diseases, like I said, hair loss. It nourishes the skin. It's good as an insect repellent, wood polish, and it preserves wood. And it's when we're talking about the chemical composition of Arborvitae, we're talking about its qualities that this oil has. So one of the reasons why it's so beneficial to the skin, especially oily skin, is it's astringent. So I don't know if you felt like, even after my hands were dry and we had smelled it on our hands and I just massaged it on my brow, and I noticed that I got a little bit on my upper eyelids, and it felt kind of like, you know, when you feel that astringency like of rubbing alcohol or witch hazel, or when you put tea tree oil on your skin and it's like astringent, you know? And this is what the quality of Arborvitae is as well. It's astringent. It's also one of the reasons why I said it was good for coughs is because it's an expectorant. So an expectorant, what does that help you do? It moves the mucus out of the lungs. And so this is a great one to diffuse. If you're having any kind of scratchy throat and you just feel, or you're developing a lot of mucus, what dries up mucus, and when we're talking from an Ayurvedic standpoint as well, astringency, right? We're going to pull that mucus out. So it's really good. So you can dilute it because you don't want to develop a skin sensitivity because it is so astringent. So if you're going to use it on your skin daily or more than one time a day, you're going to definitely want to dilute that with fractionated coconut oil. And you can rub that right on your chest and your throat and dilute that, or you can put a drop in a hot steam with a towel over your head. And that's going to really help open your lungs and help move that mucus out of your lungs and clear your lungs from pollution, from toxins, from mucus. And it's going to keep them really healthy. And that's what we want to do with our lungs, especially with, you know, the current situation of the world. So we want to really keep our lungs strong and healthy and boost our immune system. It's also acts as a stimulant. So as much as this oil is really super grounding like trees, so when we're talking about any kind of wood oil they're really grounding and stable, which is really good for people who are feeling really super mobile and ungrounded, like Vata dosha dominant people. People who just feel really off balance, or, you know, especially in this time, we're dealing with a lot of unknowns. So when we're dealing with things, a lot of unknowns, we can feel overwhelmed, that sense of loss of control. Ground down with a wood oil, especially this one. It's just magic. And it stimulates. So not only is it grounding, but it stimulates. So this is amazing, because as it's what it's doing, as it's grounding us down, it's stimulating our nervous system, our immune system, our reproductive system, and our heart. And it's also antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic, anti-cancer, and anti-tumor, which is amazing. So what does this all mean? How do we actually use what's in here, this oil, what's in this bottle, and apply it to our current life? So Molly and I gave you just one tip by using it aromatically in your meditation, using it in your spray for auric cleanse, for auric protection, or for insect repellent. And then I also have another great book that I wanted to share with you that I love, called Advanced Oil Magic, and you can get this at cost right now from the company. So if you just Google Advanced Oil Magic, they're actually not selling it for profit right now because they want to get it into everyone's hands. So I highly recommend that everyone get themselves a book. And I opened up to the page that we're talking about, so I hope you can see that. And see how it has a QR code there? That will take you right to the video I'm talking about. So each page and this is doTERRA specific book. So each page, I'm going to show these guys on Nurturing Naturals. So each page is dedicated to an oil and its top uses. So number one, it talks about strep throat. So if you've got strep throat, sore throat, you can rub 2 drops over the outside of your throat and gargle 2 drops with water and then spit it out. We already talked about a bug repellent. So if you don't want to use it as a spray, you can also dilute it with several drops of a carrier oil and rub that over your skin, especially if you've got really dry skin. It's nice to put some oil in your skin. And those carrier oils, especially if you're using jojoba oil is really great for the skin because it's so close to our own skin cells and it's highly absorbable. The nice thing about fractionated coconut oil is that it doesn't leave an oily residue on your skin. It's very absorbable into the skin, so it really, you won't feel oily at all. And now when we're talking about cancer, especially skin cancer, and I know I don't know if Dave is still watching on Nurturing Naturals, but Dave, if you are, please share your story about your skin cancer that you had on your face. And if he left the live, I'm going to message him and see if he'll share his story. I actually have an interview somewhere that I recorded with Dave about his story, about his skin cancer. And that's originally how Dave got turned on to essential oils. I actually met him when I was teaching classes in Rhode Island. So he's also part of our Rhode Island team. We've got a really great team out there in Rhode Island, my home state. And speaking of Rhode Island, Ellen just joined. Hi, Ellen. This is Ellen is Molly's mama.
Hey, Mama.
With Ellen, we have a Zoom recording with Molly. I can see Molly's face here, and then we're doing a live here on Nurturing Naturals. So I love it. It's all in the family, and our family is constantly growing. So we've got our family and our blood family and our soul family. But with any kind of skin cancer, what we can do is we can dilute um, Arborvitae, and we can just put that topically right on the skin. And when we're talking about things like that with blemishes um, or chronic issues like that, or maybe, you know, we're not going to say chronic, we're going to say acute, then you're going to be using it multiple times a day. And so you definitely want to dilute it when you're using it multiple times a day, because that way it prevents you from developing any skin sensitivity or developing any rash. And we don't want that. So another amazing use for this, and I was talking to one of my girlfriends yesterday about this because she has candida issues chronically. She's been having them since she was a little girl. And we were talking about, we had such a great conversation and talking about how food has changed and how GMO food and how all this processed food, frozen food, boxed food, food that's not coming right from the source has really affected her immune system, not only in her, but in her mom and in her mother's mother. So this is something that we really need to address, because when we're talking about developing a strong immune system, we also have to look at where we're coming from, our ancestors. And a lot of times they didn't have access to the information that we have now. So we are actually working to heal our DNA, right? We're healing on a cellular level, and we're also teaching our mamas and our papas and our grandmas and our grandpas how to use this plant medicine again. So it's like we're coming back full circle, you know, like if we look back in history, what did people use for medicines? Plants. And then modern days came and science came into the picture, and we started to genetically modify things and mimic things in nature so that we could, so that companies could trademark them and get a pattern to farm so that they could make these drugs, which are based from plants. So modern medicine has its uses. We love modern medicine. We definitely need it, and it has its places, but we don't want to get so far away from our roots and so dependent on pharmaceutical drugs or over-the-counter drugs that we may not even need, that may have many detrimental side effects. So what I love about teaching this class, Essential Oil Apothecary, is we're offering you a natural solution first, right? And if it doesn't work, then we go see our doctor, right? So it's nice to be able to just go into our own medicine cabinet and be able to try to take some responsibility for our own health care. And especially now, we don't want to overwhelm our ERs, our urgent cares with minor issues that we can take care of ourselves when they're really dealing with a pandemic out there. So we don't want to exhaust our people, right? Right, Ellen? I know that Ellen's a nurse, so she can talk firsthand about what's going on in the hospitals, maybe up in Rhode Island. How are you doing up there? Are there COVID cases? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Is the hospital staff overwhelmed? How can we support you? Let's ask our healthcare workers how we can support them. Okay, so Candida, going back to this, because you know I go roundabout. So what you can do if you're experiencing Candida is you can rub 2 drops of Arborvitae diluted with a carrier oil right on your abdomen and bladder several times a day. And that's going to penetrate into the area and hopefully help you alleviate those issues of having high candida in your system. And also to help you if you're experiencing high candida, you really want to make sure to reduce your sugar and your alcohol intake and your caffeine right now, and all white processed foods. Those are going to be things that are going to exacerbate candida. So you want to really make sure that you're taking care of that. Also, I don't know if you knew this, but when we really start thinking about how plant medicine works and what parts of the plants it's coming from, it makes sense that Arborvitae is really great to alleviate fungal issues. Okay, so what can you think of that that when we have fungus in the body? You know, when your nails get a fungus in them and they get all dried and flaky or crusty or warped, or they turn yellow or just really ugly. I've had some friends that have had that and have really suffered. And one of my friends was a PA, a physician's assistant. And I was like, what can you do for that? You know? And I was asking him what his remedy would be for that. And he was saying, well, he could take some really super heavy duty antibiotics, which are really damaging to his liver or to one's liver, and he did not want to do that. So then he asked me, he's like, what would you do for that? And so my initial instinct would be tea tree oil, right? I would go right to tea tree oil because it has very similar qualities to Arborvitae. But when we look up remedy or how to use essential oils, and I can't show you on my phone right now because we're live in our group, but if you look up in the App Store, Modern Essentials Plus, that's a doTERRA specific app, and you can use that app to look up any kind of health issue that you're experiencing, and it's going to give you an essential oil remedy. Okay, Gail is holding that up right there, so I'm going to hold my phone there, so hopefully you guys can see the app there. And if not, I'll post a link to the recording, and you guys can check in after. So thank you, Gail, for that. I appreciate that. Okay, so one of the last things I wanted to talk about is that it's also good for cold sores and cysts. So if you have cold sores or cysts, you can also dilute it and use it in that way, right topically to the spot. So if anyone has any questions about that, you can type them in the comments in our Nurturing Naturals group, or you can message anyone who shared this video with you and get some more information, or you're welcome to contact me as well, or Molly or Gail. Okay, so I think that is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I just wanted, Molly, did you want to add anything else to that?
No, I think you covered everything.
Gail, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes, the Advanced Oil Magic book. I bought the bundle right now while it's at cost, and it comes with the Droply app. Can you hear me okay? And
yeah, can you just repeat that again? What book did you buy?
The Advanced Oil Magic.
Oh, you bought Advanced Oil Magic and it comes with the Droply app?
The Droply app is free right now. It comes in the bundle. And what I want to let you guys know is I opened up to Arborvitae, and it actually has a pregnancy caution. It says doctors recommend avoiding this oil during pregnancy due to its newness and the lack of research data available to determine safety.
Ah, okay. That's good to know because, you know, if one is pregnant, you definitely want to use caution. So thank you for that. Now, I also have a really great textbook that I don't have right in front of me here, but it's called Essential Oil Safety by Robert Tisserand. And it's huge. It's like a huge, thick, I don't even know how many pages, over 1,000 pages. But I'm gonna look I'll look up Arborvitae and see if they have any more to say about essential oils in pregnancy with this particular oil, Arborvitae, because there are essential oils safe to use during pregnancy. It depends what trimester also. And yeah, you just want to make sure. So thank you for mentioning that, Gail. That's a very important thing to say. Yeah, I'll check on that and see. Now, one of the things that I also love about doTERRA, one of the many, is that what they're doing right now is Dr. David Hill, who used to be the chief medical officer to doTERRA, he's one of the 7 owners of the company. He stepped down from that position because he wanted to work more one-on-one with hospitals and do clinical studies on human beings with essential oils. Because if you look at essential oil case studies, you'll see a lot of testing on animals, which, you know, being a vegetarian and an animal lover, I never like, because I don't think that's fair. They don't have a say in it. And if we're going to try to test products that are safe on humans, I really believe we need to test them on humans. And if there's a doubt of their safety, then they're probably not safe to use on humans. So that's my motto and stance on products and animals and testing on animals. I know a lot of people feel differently, and a lot of people would rather test on animals than humans. I'm not going to debate about that. That's not what this is about. Everyone has their own opinion. However, I'm really looking forward to the studies that will be coming out that Dr. David Hill is going to be doing with different groups and different researchers and hospitals about how essential oils really do affect our minds, our body, all 12 systems in our body. And it's just so fascinating when we can really get some science behind it, because I've heard so many times people say essential oils are woo-woo, they just have a placebo effect, but really they are changing people's lives and working in so many ways to support health. So I just wanted to end with a meditation just to ground people down. And I know that many people are stuck in their homes and cities and don't have access to natural spaces and even forests. So let's just close our eyes and sit up nice and tall within ourselves and get really quiet and centered. And just begin to, if you have the essential oil, Arborvitae, you can, again, just open up your bottle and smell that from your bottle. Otherwise, just imagine that you are sitting deep in a forest with no sounds of industry, traffic, cars, anything around you, no internet. But you're just sitting on the earth in the forest, and you're breathing in the essence of the red cedar wood trees in Canada. And if you've ever been blessed to be in a cedar wood forest or, you know, a big forest like that, the ground is soft because of all the pine needles. And even though the cedar wood trees don't have needles, they're soft. The ground is very peaty, very mossy, very earthy, and you can feel and smell that in this oil. And yet this essential oil almost has like a chemical or a gassy smell to it. It's so potent. And as we're sitting among the trees, imagine you're just leaning at the base of an 800-year-old cedar wood tree. which I like to call our grandfathers and our grandmothers. They're our ancestors. They're the wisdom keepers who have been standing watch for centuries. They're like the centennials watching humans as we progress through life. And I use that term loosely, progress. But let us evolve. Let us use our meditation to really connect with nature and understand how important nature is to supporting every aspect of our life, our health, our well-being, our emotional health, our spiritual health. How good it is for our physical body to get out and run among the trees, to lay down in their shade, to be shielded by the rain and feel moist raindrops picking up the essence of the plant and dripping it right into our skin. And let this feeling of being deep in the forest among the ancestors really bring a sense of reassurance to you and a reminder that no matter what is going on in our lives, among the chaos, the busyness, the movement, and all the change, we can always come to this place of stillness, just like the trees. Let them remind us to be still, to be grounded, to stay rooted and anchored in all of it. My dear friends, with one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, just breathe into this energy, into this energetic space, and know that you can cultivate this sense of peace and stillness within you at any moment. Even if someone is screaming in your face, you can just deep breathe and be that spiritual warrior, that sentinel, that wise ancestor, that the wisdom of the redwood, the red cedar wood trees teach us to have that divine grace, to trust in the divine, to release our need to control the outcome. This oil initiates us to live with peace and joy by trusting the abundant flow of divine grace. And teaches us that divinity is all around us in every moment. It teaches us to hold close what is dear and to release what we need to. And by surrendering, the mind relaxes and the soul experiences a deep inner peace and harmony, a deep wisdom. And then we feel any grip in our tummy or our heart begin to release when we come to this true knowing that we're always being held in the trees, in this energy of the divine grace. Just like a bird in a nest. Arborvitae teaches us the true strength that can come from emptiness and that willingness to let go. And with our willingness to be empty, to empty out our heart, our mind, and become an empty vessel, we're able to be filled with the strength of the divine, which is especially important when we feel so weak or life brings us to our knees. So take a deep, slow breath in and allow this strength to fill you up. And let that flow of your breath continue to move that deep trust and strength through you, through your very essence. And let it allow your soul to live effortlessly, striving for the heavens like the trees reach toward the sun. Mm. Whenever you feel ready, just beginning to flutter, the eyes open, and just bring yourself back whenever you feel ready. Wow. If you didn't have that oil to enhance your experience, it is so powerful. You've got, like I said, you've got to put it on your next order. It also, for me, has a very nostalgic smell because it smells like cedar. And my mom had a walk-in cedarwood closet in our house as I was growing up. And she had fur coats. And I would just love to like go and snuggle in our fur coats, and they would smell like cedar, and I would put them down on the closet floor and just like lay in them like a cuddly bear, and it just reminds me of that. So remember that when we use aromatherapy, our nose is a direct line to the brain, and the olfactory nerve triggers the limbic system, which triggers memory and emotions. So it can really bring back happy memories or not so good memories. Smell can also trigger bad memories too. So we can also repattern our minds with aromatherapy, repattern our thinking. So I hope you enjoyed this class as much as I did.
Yes.
I love you guys so much. I'm so honored to be here in our community to share this plant wisdom with you. It's such a passion of mine, and it runs deep in our being. It's in our DNA. They're part of our, they're our plant allies. They're our friends. They're our families. They're our teachers. They are, they're such amazing creatures. They have such intelligence. So we're so blessed to have such a special relationship with them. And if anyone has any questions or has anything else to contribute now or later, please do. And if not, we'll sign off for today. Wishing you all a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day, wherever you're at in the world, or evening perhaps. And much love to you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Molly. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Gail. Thank
so
you,
much.
Ellen and Dave and Sol and Marty and Sonia for all being here. It's so wonderful. I really am so grateful. And I will see you next Wednesday. We're going through A to Z. So I have to look and see what's next. And if you know me, you know I'm Vata Dosha. I'm living right in the present moment. I'm not a planner. I'm trying to be a planner, but I'm going to be planning for next month because it's May and there's lots of special things happening. We're going to honor our mothers. We get to honor our flowers, the flower essences, and we've got lots of surprises for you, lots of giveaways, lots of invitations to connect with each other, with your community. So I'm really looking forward to it. We also have our cleanse coming up on May 15th. So if you are interested in joining our 30-day cleanse, please let us know. We're excited about that, ready to raise the vibe even higher and higher and higher. And I think and then on Friday, our class is at noon as well. We're going to be talking about ancient wisdom for modern times, and we'll be doing some more practices from the yogic, Ayurvedic, and aromatic perspectives. All right, my dear ones, love you. Mwah. Namaste.
Namaste.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.